Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. I'm your host, Geoff at Geoff Willis, and each week I'll be talking fancy Premier League football. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Stitcher. Just search Captain's Pick. And we also feature on the YouTube channel, FPL Podcast, so please remember to subscribe, like and share. On today's show, I'll be looking back at Game Week 6, looking at my squad selection for this weekend, and discussing Game Week 7's fixtures, along with transfers and my captain's pick. So looking back to Game Week 6, I had a feeling that I was going to have a big Game Week score. Had a few disappointing weeks, but always felt like there was a big score on the horizon, and Game Week 6 was that for me. So I finished on final points, 79 points last game week. I'll just go through my team and where I picked up points. Disappointing again from Pickford. Every week I say this, I can't believe he's still in my team. He may still be in my team, but every week I seem to be having to put out a different fire and not quite getting round to Pickford. So, but news on that later. Wan-Bissaka doing excellent again for such a cheap defender. Crystal Palace got me 9 points, clean sheet and 3 bonus points. He's almost looking essential at this point. My transfer the week before, Alonso, got me a clean sheet. So he got me 6 points and sort of negated that -4 over the period of the 2-game week. So I was pleased to get him off and running on the points for me. Alexander-Arnold again looked great, and he finally came in with a big points haul. Got me 11 points. He got an assist in that game and got some bonus points. So I'm really pleased that I've got him in my team. I think him and Robertson will be very similar in terms of total points by the end of the year, but he's obviously about $1 million cheaper than Robertson. So I'm quite happy to have Trent in the team, and certainly if he continues getting points hauls like that, I'll be very happy. I brought in Chilwell last week, the Leicester defender. Got me 2 points. Was slightly unfortunate not to get the clean sheet. They obviously won 3-1 against Huddersfield, so I thought they would definitely win that game, and thought that there might be a clean sheet in that game, but obviously just conceded that one goal, which was a little bit disappointing. But so I did get him in for the next 6, 7, 8 game weeks, so hoping to get some clean sheets from him. In midfield, obviously started with Mendy in my team, didn't think he would play, so he got subbed out, and the other ever trustable Lerma came in for me from Bournemouth and got his usual 2 points. But that can't really let that continue. Definitely have to be doing something about Mendy. More information on that when I go through to talk about transfers. Salah picked the right captain again. Pretty much been perfect with my captain's picks so far this season. All my choices, captain picks, have scored decent points every time I've captained them this year. So very happy with him. He obviously got the goal. I was happy to get the 16 points from him. And then finally, Bernardo Silva, after his good-looking first game of the season, and then had a few off weeks, looked really good 2 weeks ago. So happy I kept him in my sheet. And he returned with bonus points, an assist and a goal. So he finished up on 14 points. If you listened to the pod last week, I did predict that I think he would go big in this game week. It was very much if he doesn't, he'll get cut. So clearly he must have heard the pod last week and returned some points. So, and that's definitely meant that I'll keep him in the team again for this week. Going into my forward lineup, slightly disappointed by Saha, only the 2 points, but He nearly didn't play because apparently in the warm-up he had back spasms, so he nearly didn't start the match. So slightly concerning there. But hopefully he can return in the next few games. Aguero got the goal, only played 60 minutes, so between him and Salah, obviously I was close to captain Aguero, but thought Salah would do slightly more. Obviously that came true, so I was happy with that, but again, happy with Aguero's goal. And then Kane gets me the goal, 3 bonus points as well, which is superb. Obviously not too many teams have him, so that's quite a nice differential pick for me with returning 9 points in the game week. So very happy with game week 6. The average points was 52, so I was a good 27 points above the average. Had a game week rank of 28,211, which is, I think that's the best game week rank I've ever had. And so I finished on overall points 384 and an overall rank of 156,310, which I think was a rise of about 270 positions in the rankings. So a superb week for me. Very, very happy with that. Okay, so if we have a little look at my squad going into game week 7. Game week 7 deadlines tomorrow at 11:30. I'll remind you again at the end of the pod. Going into this one, I've still got Pickford in goal. He's got Fulham at home. Can't see them keeping a clean sheet, even with Mitch Fitch, especially with Mitch Fitch in great form for Fulham. The longer it goes on, though, I almost think that statistically it feels like there may be a clean sheet on the horizon, just from a pure stats base, that how many games can they go without keeping a clean sheet. But with Mendy in my team, I need to fix the Mendy situation. So Pickford gets away from getting cut for one more week. Not sure how long this continues. Obviously, if I pulled a wild card any time, he would have definitely been out of the team. But at the moment, just fingers crossed he might be able to pick up a clean sheet in that game. Currently playing with a back 5, but that has Mendy in it, and think that will probably be going back to a back 4, because I think Mendy will be getting cut this game week. But more on that in the transfers. Alonso and Alexander-Arnold in the back 4 for me. Obviously play each other. Potential for clean sheets there, but if no clean sheets happen, then they could both get me points from an attacking standpoint. So I've got to play them. They're my premium defenders. I don't want to be benching them. I mean, I can't really bench them because I don't have too much on the bench either. So it's not really an option for me. I've got to play them, and we'll just see what happens with those two. Chilwell away at Newcastle. Not much going on attacking wise from Newcastle, so I'd like to think could get a clean sheet there. Leicester haven't been great defensively, but I think hoping to get a clean sheet there. But he's also be looking to get maybe an attacking return from him, because he has looked good so far this season. And Wan-Bissaka, the man at the moment, has to start. Bournemouth away again. Bournemouth are good from an attacking point of view, but Palace have looked good defensively. He looks strong going forward as well. So got to play him, especially after the last 2 game weeks, bringing in 18 points over those two games. So he definitely starts for me. In midfield, currently just the 2 midfielders, Bernardo Silva, Brighton at home, he's got to play. He didn't play midweek in the Carabao Cup, so I would have thought he would start. And certainly after his excellent game week last week, definitely got to be looking at him to get me some attacking points. Brighton have not looked great so far this season. And then Salah, Chelsea away, never know what's going to happen in these games. He does like playing against the top six. Did very well in those matches last season. Obviously, used to play for Chelsea, so probably likes to get one over them. Added incentive there. Obviously, didn't play midweek either, so think he could get some points there. But obviously, if there are no Liverpool attacking returns, that would at least give me an Alonso clean sheet. So we'll just have to see on that one. Up front, Zaha definitely gets another outing from me. Bournemouth away. Bournemouth conceding 4 goals last week. They were away from home. But I'd be looking for him to definitely be getting on the score sheet. He's not got long left in my team, maybe this week and possibly next week. But the way Mitrovic is scoring at the moment, he would definitely be looking to be a replacement for Zaha, certainly if he doesn't return in this game week or the next. Then we have Kane, Huddersfield away. Kane obviously didn't play midweek. They do have Barcelona next week, but I would have thought he'll definitely get at least 60 or 70 minutes. Huddersfield, again, haven't looked great, so definitely looking for him to, after his goal last week, to keep building that momentum, and be nice to see a brace from Kane this week. And then Aguero, again, didn't play during the week, Carabao Cup, but they obviously have Champions League midweek, and then they have a fixture away at Liverpool next Saturday. So definitely think he'll start against Brighton, but will probably, similar to Kane, maybe on the pitch for 60 to 70 minutes. But can see him definitely doing the business, even if he does have limited points. So definitely see him getting some goals and some good points in that match. Bench isn't looking that great, but can't really see anybody being rested from my starting lineup. Mendy's the only problem area, so can't see anyone coming off my bench. So that's the squad going into game week 7, and I'm just going to have a little look at transfers now. So clearly, Mendy is the big fire in my team at the moment. Hasn't played for 2 consecutive weeks. Very annoying because City have kept clean sheets in both of those matches. Not really sure what the problem is. Apparently, to begin with, it was a knee injury. Then it was an ankle injury, and now apparently it's a metatarsal injury. He also has had a ban from driving as well, and apparently turned up late as well for some treatment after he was at the big AJ fight last Saturday, so he was late on the Sunday morning. Pep had his manager's press conference this afternoon. Got a couple of quotes here from him. Guardiola has suggested that recovery was going well, so that's interesting, but that's not declaring him fit. Later on in the press conference, he went on to say he was injured 6-7 months last season. Now he's injured again. Every day he's having treatment. I expect him back when he's fit. Now he's injured. He's not a problem with physical condition. He's quick. He's injured, and when he's okay, he's coming back. And when he decides to play, he's going to play. So, slightly cryptic there. Does sound like that he won't be playing this weekend. Very hard to go on these quotes. I mean, it is the Pep roulette, but I don't think I can have him at the price point he's at for 3 game weeks in a row. It's not looking good for him. I just don't think I can keep him in the side. I definitely want to have him in my team. He was a bit of a set and forget, but just can't really justify having him in the team. Man City's fixtures for the next 6 game weeks, they have like 1 good game, 1 bad game, 1 good game, 1 bad game. So if he does come back in those fixtures, I may not be losing out on too much, but at the moment, it just doesn't look that great for him. So I'm definitely looking at transferring him out tonight. He's obviously had a few price drops. I got him at the start of the season, so I got him for 6 million, and then he went up 6.5 and dropped down to 6.4, and now it's dropped down to 6.3. So I'm still getting 6.1 from him, so I've made a 0.1 million there. So really my options are, and here's what I'm looking at the moment. So I know a lot of the FPL community are looking at Trippier, who has got a good few fixtures coming up. There's always rotation risk with him. But the man I'm looking at was the guy who I had at the start of the season. He was one of my picks and possible set and forgets for the season. Had a great start to the season, but then unfortunately headbutted someone and got a red card, and was out for 3 games. And then that brought on the Theo Walcott debacle. So Richarlison, thought he looked good at the start of the season. That's why I had him in my team. And want to look to get him back in the team. Obviously, he's a midfielder. Mendy's a defender. So I am looking at maybe taking a points hit to get him in. But if we click on Richarlison here, he's obviously got Fulham at home. Again, Fulham very leaky defensive, just as bad as Everton, really. Richarlison looked pretty decent against Arsenal last week. There's even talk of him being played up front. So, does look a good option. After Fulham, he's got Leicester and then Crystal Palace. So he's got a good few games there. So I feel like I want to take a bit of a punt. It does mean taking a -4, which I only took a -4 a couple of weeks ago when I brought in Alonso and he blanked, so that didn't work for me. But got a feeling about Richarlison. Could definitely see him getting goals and points. Can't see Mendy playing, so that's the transfer I'm looking at. So I'd be bringing in Richarlison for Chalobah, who's a cheap 4.5 million plays. Not really got too much game time so far this year, and he's just been a bench option for me. So I'd be transferring him out for Richarlison, and then I would be transferring out Mendy. And to do this swap, I would be having to put in a cheap as chips defender. So I'd be looking at one of the cheapest ones in the game, which is Southampton's Bednarek at 3.9 million. Slightly annoying that I'm taking a -4 point hit, especially for a player that I'll probably just be benching anyways. Southampton have an away game at Wolves, so potential to have a clean sheet there, but to be honest, I can't see him even getting off my bench. So I'd definitely be looking at Richarlison to, if he gets me a goal, then that wipes out the 4-point hit. Anything else on top of that is a bonus, especially because I can't see me getting any points from Chalobah or Mendy. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. Probably might have to hit that option tonight, because it does look like Richarlison's going to go up from 6.6 to 6.7, in which case I would not be able to afford him. So in the next few hours, definitely going to have to look into that and make the swap. Not sure there's going to be any more extra information coming out from City about Mendy. But at this point, I'm 95% sure I'm going to go for it, and say all it takes is Richarlison to get even to get an assist, and then that would wipe out the 4 points, and anything on top of that would be great. So that's what I'm looking at transfer-wise, not looking at anything else. I mean, Pickford would like to get him out there, but I'm definitely not going to take a -8, and then you start getting into wild card territory, and I'm pretty happy with how my squad is shaping up at the moment. So certainly don't feel the need to wild card, but that may change in the next couple of weeks if there's any other injuries or anything else doesn't pan out. But at the moment, just looking like those 2 transfers for a -4 point hit. And in terms of captain's pick this week, 2 options for me. Kane away at Huddersfield. Again, may get reduced minutes, but feel like his form's picking up a little bit. Huddersfield haven't been great. Slightly disappointing to hear Eriksen is out with an injury, and he's definitely a creative linchpin in the Spurs squad. So that may reduce the attacking potential from Kane. But Ali, I think, is now back from injury. They've also got Moura and Son, so could definitely see Spurs scoring some points in that game. And the other option is Aguero, home to Brighton. Again, possibility of reduced minutes, but can definitely, even if he gets 60 minutes, as he's shown before many times, he can easily score a hat-trick in that time and then get subbed. So they're the 2 options. I'm definitely leaning towards Aguero. Like the Mendy transfer, I'm probably 95% sure that I'll be captaining Aguero this week, because I can definitely see them City getting a big haul, and he's been on the end of most of their attacking points this season. So definitely looking at Sergio Aguero for my captain's pick. A little bit looking into the other fixtures. I'll just run through these quickly and just have a brief look and predict the scores for game week 7. So West Ham at home to Man United. West Ham definitely improved in the last few weeks. Did well against Chelsea, got that clean sheet. Man United, especially with all the controversy at the moment with Pogba and Mourinho, very hard to predict this game. If West Ham score, I could see this potentially being a 1-0 West Ham. I think if Man United score first, then probably looking like a Man United win, but could be a very tight game. Arnautovic, coming out of the press conference this afternoon for Pellegrini, saying that Arnautovic is 100% fit, so he'll be starting. He likes to score against the top 6 sides, so I think West Ham may nick that one. Not good for United's supporters there. Arsenal at home to Watford. Watford been playing well. Arsenal have had a bit of decent form going into this game. Bit leaky at the back, Arsenal, but up front, Lacazette and Aubameyang have been performing well, so I think Arsenal could potentially get that one. Troy Deeney up front, though, will definitely cause the Arsenal defence some difficulty, so could be a 2-1 Arsenal there. Everton-Fulham, I've sort of already spoken about. Can see this being high scoring, both attacking teams, very leaky at the back. Possibly a Richarlison brace in that with Mitrovic going at goal. 2-1 Everton, but hoping for a clean sheet, but can't see that coming for Pickford, but there we are. Huddersfield, home to Spurs, already mentioned about Spurs attacking with Kane. Could see this one being a 3-0 Spurs. Man City home to Brighton, likewise. Few players will have reduced minutes, but could see this being 3-0. Newcastle home to Leicester. Could be very tight this game. Leicester haven't been great at the back, but Newcastle haven't been great going forward. Newcastle slightly more solid at the back. It's a very tight game. Could possibly be 1-0 Leicester, maybe a Maddison free kick in that game. Be very tight, I would have thought. Wolves at home to Southampton. Wolves have looked excellent so far this season. Great draw at Old Trafford last week. Southampton, very hard to track their form, very up and down. Did get an away win at Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago, but that was when Zaha was injured. Can only really see a Wolves victory in this game. 2-0 Wolves. If Danny Ings is playing, then maybe Southampton can nick a goal, but Wolves have looked defensively very good, keep possession very well, and have looked good attacking as well. So 2-0 Wolves there, I think. And then the late game on Saturday, Chelsea-Liverpool. No idea how to predict this. As a Chelsea fan, obviously, looking for Chelsea to win this, but I think it's going to be very tough. Liverpool have looked great so far this season. Will the midweek Carabao Cup win for Chelsea have a bearing on this? I'm not so sure. I think both teams played pretty much their reserve sides until Hazard came on and got that amazing winner. I can see there being goals, but I think it could be very tight. I'm hoping for maybe a 1-0 Chelsea, but that literally could go any way, that game. So hopefully it goes Chelsea way, but if Liverpool do well, I'm sure Mo Salah might be on the end of attacking points there, but we'll just have to see. But hopefully a Chelsea win. And then Sunday's game, Cardiff at home to Burnley. Well, that's not exactly a Super Sunday, but Cardiff have got to get a couple of goals sooner or later and try and get a win on the board. Burnley looked good last game week, 4-0 win. They look to be getting back to where their form was last year, but I could see that just being a 0-0 also. And then the Monday night game, Bournemouth at home to Palace. Could be very tight this. Hopefully Zaha, he scored all his 3 goals so far this season away from home, so that's a good indication from him. Bournemouth do look good at home, strong at home, but defensively have looked to leak goals, so could be something like a 2-2 in that game, I think, but very hard to predict. So that's where I think I'm going to wrap up the show. Again, a reminder that Game Week 7 deadline is tomorrow morning, 11:30. So that's Saturday morning at 11:30. You can find me tweeting FPL Gold on the podcast Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the show. And so from me, good luck with Game Week 7. And also a shout out to the European team at the Ryder Cup. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. But until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you. Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.